Hey everybody, I'm super excited to be making this video as a part of the Minnesota Percussion Association's virtual day of percussion. You know, I'm obviously super bummed we can't be together to do these clinics in person, but I like making videos, so this isn't a bad alternative. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Tsuchiya. I'm originally from Eden Prairie, Minnesota, but I currently reside in Minneapolis. My drumming career consists of 4 years with the Eden Prairie High School drumline, 4 years with the University of Minnesota drumline, 4 years of Minnesota Brass Indoor, 3 years with the Bluecoats Drum and Bugle Corps, and 1 year with Broken City Percussion. Currently, I'm a member of the Minnesota Vikings Skull line, and I play drum set too, and I gig locally. This drumming career has allowed me to develop what I would refer to as an above average following on social media, particularly on Instagram and YouTube. I also graduated from the University of Minnesota with a strategic communications degree, so I currently work full-time at a marketing agency here in Minneapolis. So all that kind of uniquely qualifies me, I think, to be talking about the topic we're discussing today, which is social media for drummers. More specifically, we'll be talking today about how the internet and social media can be used as a tool for getting better, as well as how you yourself can create good content and sort of use social media as somewhat of a creative outlet and a performance outlet. And then at the end, I'll actually create a video of a little lick that I just wrote and show you step by step what I do, so you can see for yourself just how easy it is to not just make a piece of content, but make a high quality piece of content for you to post on social media. So the internet is an incredible resource for everything, but it is an especially good resource for musicians of any experience level to learn and get better. If you ask anyone that didn't grow up in the internet era, they'll tell you that they wish they had a tool like this to use when they were younger. But it's never too late for performers and instructors alike to take advantage of this tool. Chances are you've already used it to your advantage, whether you really realize it or not. But in order to maximize the value you get out of it, it's important to understand all of the different ways in which it can help. So let's talk about them. I actually put a poll out to my Instagram followers asking them to share in what ways the internet and social media has helped them get better, if there are any. And I got a ton of really thoughtful responses. So if you're watching this and you contributed to that discussion, thank you very much. I didn't get around to responding to all of them, but I did read all of them, and all of them were great thoughts, so thank you. I think what it all kind of ladders up to is this idea of active observation, okay? Not just mindlessly scrolling through TikTok or Instagram or YouTube like we usually do. You know, being intentional consumers of the content, taking note of techniques, discovering new and innovative ideas, and then using that as sort of inspiration and motivation, and applying what you've seen to help develop your own skill set the next time you pick up the sticks or mallets to practice. So let's talk about technique first. I think I should start by saying that I think there is no better alternative to private in-person instruction with regard to understanding the nuance of good technique. However, it doesn't hurt to watch people on the internet, on YouTube, that have good technique and making observations about what they're doing. I'll give you a good example from back when I was in high school. The Eden Prairie High School snare line, up until my sophomore year, was using matched grip. But our staff decided to make the switch to traditional grip, and it was actually around that time that I was thinking about auditioning for a drum corps in the future after high school. So I was actually happy about this change. My instructor at the time, shout out to Joe Asselson, he did a great job of teaching a bunch of kids who knew nothing about traditional grip how to use traditional grip. But I remember sort of having a tipping point after I saw this video of the Blue Devils drumline in 2012 warming up before DCI finals. Specifically, I watched this guy, Keelan Tobia, who is one of the best, arguably the best modern marching snare drummer in the world. And thankfully, the cameraman zooms in really close on his left hand. I noticed that it looks like his fingers don't move. He's playing, very challenging stuff with a lot of different rhythms and stroke types, but the shape of his hand stays constant. And I realized then that that's kind of the goal with the left hand, to create that natural shape with the hand and fingers and make it look like that it stays that way to the viewer. Of course, the fingers are going to be moving around a little bit depending on what I'm playing and how much pressure I need to place on the stick, but I saw that Keelan was making those changes as minimally as possible, which effectively eliminates variables and creates more consistency with the left hand. So the next time I sat down behind my practice pad, I workshopped my left hand to try to apply that same principle to my own technique. Of course, my hands look and operate differently than his do. We're different people, and I think forcing my hands to look exactly like his would be unnatural to me, and that's a bad thing, in my opinion. But I was able to apply that principle of minimizing change and variables to create consistency. And that's a principle that I just picked up on from actively observing a YouTube video. Now let's talk about audition prep. Let's say you want to audition for the Bluecoats. Or actually, let me back up. Maybe you don't even know what group you want to audition for yet. On the internet, you can watch full shows, you can watch lot videos, you can watch rehearsal videos to see what any given group's rehearsal style is like. And you can kind of get a feel just for any group's style of play and make notes about the technique they're looking for. Watching this video of the Bluecoats doing a rehearsal run through is ultimately what made me pull the trigger and decide to audition for Bluecoats in the first place. That vibe and energy that was coming at me through my phone screen was enticing, to say the least. Their style was something that I liked and wanted to be a part of. There's also a really good chance that at least some of any given group's audition repertoire consists of exercises that were a part of their warm-up sequence in years past. So it would be really wise of you to watch them playing their exercises in the lot on YouTube, so you have reference for how it should sound and how it should be played. Maybe you noticed that they had changed the dynamics of a certain exercise in a previous season, but that change wasn't reflected in the sheet music that you have. Now you can come to auditions expecting that change to happen, and you have a leg up on everybody else that's at the auditions because you noticed that change in a YouTube video. Social media is also a place for creating connections, and maybe you can find individual performers or staff members from whatever group you're interested in and get a feel for who they are, and maybe see some videos of them playing that you can watch and learn from. Now, whatever you do not be creepy or obsessive, okay? You can feel free to politely ask a pointed question or two. People are gonna be more than happy to help more often than not, as long as you aren't wasting their time or being weird. Social media also offers an opportunity for you to increase your vocabulary. On YouTube, you can search for any drumline and see them playing their warm-up sequence and their show music. And it would be so beneficial for you to maybe even attempt transcribing their music so that you can really understand the rhythms and nuance of what you're watching. And then you can even try getting your hands to play some of this stuff too, the stuff that's being used at the top and forefront of this activity. There are also many YouTube and Instagram accounts of people like me who enjoy writing their own licks and etudes, and some will share links to download the sheet music so you can learn what they're playing for yourself. Of course, when you're practicing, you need to always ground yourself in the basics and not get too caught up in the fancy rhythms and stick tricks that you see, but it's good to expand your horizons and at least familiarize yourself with the new and innovative ideas that are being explored at the top of the activity and try to play them, within reason. If there's something that the Blue Devils or whoever are playing that you think is really cool and you want to learn it for yourself, but maybe you don't have the chops yet, that's totally okay. Get your metronome out, take it a little under tempo, and don't force yourself and develop bad habits. Last but not least, use the videos you see on social media as inspiration for how to perform. Okay, watch groups like Rhythm X, RCC, Pulse Percussion, Broken City, and pay attention to how their performers are dynamic in not just their playing, but in how they emote, in how they physically convey the music they're playing, and in how they engage with the audience. And look outside of just drumming too. Watch how Michael Leake from Snarky Puppy or Jack Conte from Scary Pockets or You know, even like Justin Timberlake or any popular music artist, and see how they just get totally lost in the performance. And use that as inspiration to develop your own way of getting in that performance zone. An old buddy of mine from high school named Tyler Wagner, who is a killer bass player, by the way, shout out to Tyler. He had a really great response to my Instagram story that adds, I think, good perspective to this from a non-drummer. He said, what used to just fly by at a live concert can now be really studied, and not just on drums, any instrument, any kind of music. But I don't think people know how valuable it is to see the masters at work, and their interviews just as important. You know, the advent of the internet and social media has really democratized access to these people and these resources, and I think we'd all be remiss if we didn't try to take advantage of it. With all that said, here are a few examples of accounts to follow that are great for bettering your skills. First of all, you should follow me. Duh. But then I'll start with Drumeo and Mike's Lessons. These are excellent YouTube channels to subscribe to. They are mainly drum set focused, but a lot of the principles they talk about are universal to all types of drumming, including rudimental. Next on my list is Gridbook Percussion. Want to give a shout out to the founders of Gridbook, Mark and John, who I've had the privilege of getting to know over the past several years. These guys work their butts off to create books, lessons, and content made specifically for you to get better. These guys have been at the forefront of marching percussion content for a while, I think. And I understand they even have a Discord server right now that you can join and become a part of a really supportive, positive, friendly community revolved around just getting better at drumming. A new kind of emerging account to watch out for is one created by Matthew Urich. He is a recent member of the Blue Devils and RCC. He recently started a really cool project called How to Drum Well, in which he breaks down what it took for him to reach the top of the activity in a really smart and formulaic way, all with the goal of just democratizing access to a top-tier drumming education. Of course, Flow Marching is on the list. They create excellent content, kind of reminiscent of sports journalism, including videos of notable music excerpts being broken down by the people that play them, as well as really cool mic'd up content that allows you to hear drops of wisdom from staff members and get a taste of rehearsal vibes from the comfort of your own home. And lastly, for bettering your health, Marching Health and Forte Athletics are the accounts to follow. If you listen to those guys, you'll be set up well to minimize risk of injury while participating in our activity, and you'll just live a healthier overall lifestyle. This list is not comprehensive. There are plenty of great accounts and content out there for you to digest that you can use as tools to make you better. The key, again, is just active observation. Doing that will help you become the best musician ever! Cool, so now let's shift gears and talk about actually creating content and using social media as a creative outlet and a means of performing. First of all, just the process of posting regularly can help you stay motivated to keep practicing and track your progress. Some people will go as far as creating drumming accounts separate from their own personal accounts, and they'll basically treat them as practice logs to track progress and stay motivated. And then just the process of creating a video to put out into the world can be really beneficial to your growth. It allows you to play back what you just played and analyze with extreme granularity. And chances are you'll notice areas for improvement while you're watching yourself on video that you otherwise wouldn't have noticed. And there's something about immortalizing your playing on video that puts maybe a little added performance pressure on you when you're recording and pushes you to strive for perfection, which, when handled with a healthy mindset, can be super beneficial to your growth. And, not to mention, posting on social media can be really fun. In my opinion, the best part about being a musician is performing. And putting something together and posting it for the internet to see can be considered another form of that. And it's an especially good form of that, when there's a global pandemic happening and we can't have fun in-person concerts. There's also, whether we like it or not, a lot of weight placed on social media profiles as somewhat of a reel or a resume. That's just kind of the nature of the world we live in now. You hear it all the time about how employers are going to look at your social media profiles to get a feel for what you're like when they're trying to decide whether or not they should hire you. The same is true for directors and instructors that are trying to decide who should be a part of their ensemble in the audition process. It's definitely not a necessity to have videos on your social media profiles of yourself playing in order to make an ensemble that you're auditioning for. However, it can work in your favor to create and post, as long as you're, putting out videos that are the best representation of you and your current skills. To that point, people will be more receptive to your content if you put at least a little effort towards making it look decent. So here are some accessible tools and some tips for you to elevate your content game. I post on YouTube and Instagram pretty regularly, and I have been for the past several years, but it wasn't until this past year that I started using some more advanced tools like the Adobe Creative Suite. But even still, thanks to modern technologies, I'm able to use very basic tools that many people have access to already to create content that doesn't look like crap. I shoot most of my videos on my smartphone. Smartphone cameras these days are incredible and are comparable to like an entry-level DSLR camera. I'd also consider buying at least like a mini tripod like this one, so you have some versatility with camera angles and you aren't stuck trying to prop your phone up on a table. You can find these things online for like 10, 15 bucks. You should also try to appropriately frame yourself so that you're either centered on the screen, or you can use the rule of thirds, which basically means that if you were to divide the screen into thirds, that the subject would line up on one of these lines. And then the last thing you need to worry about is good lighting. The easiest solution to good lighting is to use natural light, so facing a window is generally a good idea. And then after that, all you have to do is hit record and just play your heart out. Editing tools can elevate your content even more. Most phones have some built-in cropping and cutting features that you can use, but those editors are a little limited. If you have a Mac, you can use tools like iMovie and GarageBand, which come with the computer for free. I used iMovie for every single one of my videos for the longest time, and I think it's just such an underrated and easy to use tool to create really sweet, professional looking videos. GarageBand is a very capable digital audio workstation as well. And if you get stuck at all while using either of these, you're pretty much always just a simple YouTube search away from finding the solution. Canva is another great tool that allows you to create graphics and edit photos and videos, all 100% free. I love Canva. It's of course a little more limited than a Photoshop or an InDesign, and I think the video features are even a little, more limited than an iMovie, but it's completely free and super easy to use. All of the aforementioned tools are available as apps for your mobile device as well, so if you prefer to shoot and edit your content all on your phone, you can definitely do that. The absolute best way to figure out how to use these tools is to just simply get in there and try them. It can feel intimidating to work with like editing software, but I think it's more intuitive than a lot of people realize. Let me show you firsthand just how easy it is to create nice looking content using the tools I just talked about. All right guys, I'm all set up to do this video. I got my pad and stick set up here. The camera's over there. It's just my phone. I'm pretty much centered in the frame, as you can see, and it's on that little mini tripod that I have. I have my laptop right here with the track on it, and I have my AirPods in, so you can see, to hear the track while I play. And then I have this nice big natural source of light coming from the windows over there. So yeah, I'm gonna try to film this thing really quick here. We'll see how it goes. All right, so hey everybody, I'm sorry you can't see my beautiful face anymore, but the focus of this next section will just be on the tools that I use to edit this video that I just shot. So I finished filming and I airdropped the raw footage from my phone to my computer. It's right here in this folder now that I've appropriately titled Lick Demo. And I should actually back up. So the track I used, I just made in GarageBand. It took me like 2 seconds. So this is the GarageBand kind of interface. What I did was I picked 2 Apple loops that I thought sounded good together. Apple loops are basically just preloaded sounds and kind of riffs and grooves and they have a bunch of different options in here of just stuff you can draw from to create songs. And so I just picked 2 that I liked, and it sounds like this. Yeah, pretty sweet, pretty groovy. And that took me literally like 30 seconds to put this together. I just found 2 things that I liked and put them together. And so I exported this song to my disk, and I already did that. It's now located here in this same folder. So now what I'm going to do is start an iMovie project and put this thing together. And hopefully, it's actually been a second since I've used iMovie. I think I said already I've been using the Adobe Creative Suite, so Premiere Pro, to make videos for the past year or so. But hopefully, the iMovie skills come back to me relatively quickly. So we're gonna start a new movie here. And this is what it looks like. Very simple interface. So I know I'm going to want to start the video with just a plain black screen, and then it'll kind of we'll put in a little transition so it fades into the actual footage of me playing. So iMovie has these backgrounds pre-built in, and this is the plain black one here. So I'm just going to drag that down into our project. I think the default is like 4 seconds. Yeah, 4 seconds of black. That's actually probably about how much I want. Maybe a little less than that. I can adjust it later, of course. But yeah, so we'll start with that, and then I'll go find my raw footage here, and I'll just drag it in. Yeah, it's that simple. So there it is. And I obviously don't want all of this in here, so I'll just kind of preemptively cut out the beginning part, that the one take that I messed up, the lick. So that's kind of what I want to be in the actual video. And now I'll input the audio as well. So again, it's just drag and drop, very simple. I want it to start at the beginning of the video. And let's just hear what it sounds like right now. Yeah, so we'll want to obviously, so I do want some more black, or maybe I want a little more up front here, but we will obviously want to time it right, so I come right in when the beat drops, and you can zoom in to see kind of the how the audio lines up here. So you can see this spike here is where I start playing, and this spike here is where the beat comes in the track, so I want those to line up. And that's a good way to kind of visually try to line up the sound, line up the audio. It makes it a lot easier when you can see it like that. So that looks about good to me. So let's see how it sounds. Okay, yeah, it's pretty much lined up, but it's not really the right mix that I want. The track kind of covers up the sound of me playing. Part of that is because the room that I'm drumming in, is a little echoey, so it kind of drowns out the sound of, or kind of, I don't know, disperses the sound a little bit of my pad. So we'll want to kind of lessen the song's volume so that it's a little more balanced and you can hear me clear, or you can hear me playing a little bit clearer. So let's try to make a pretty significant adjustment here and see what it sounds like. Okay, that's actually pretty close to what I want. I'll maybe boost it a little bit to like 30-ish, 32 maybe. Yeah, okay, I think that's what I want. So that's sounding good. There's only a few more things we need to do here, so I'm going to add that transition I was talking about. Up here they have a whole bunch of built-in transitions you can choose from. I'm going to choose the cross dissolve. It's probably the most common one that's used. And put that in between the black video and my video of me playing. So it kind of has this nice transition between the two. I actually want it to be slower. The song is very kind of chill and groovy, so I want the transition element to reflect that. So I'll make that 3 seconds long instead of 1. Let's see what that looks like. Oh yeah, that's nice. Cool. Yeah, so now I want to kind of end the video with a little bit of an exclamation point. At least put some punctuation to the end. Right now I just kind of stop playing and just sit there. So I want to add a black video to the end too. And what I'm gonna do is, just so I don't cut off the audio, you know, if I were to just like end the video like that, it cuts off the audio and the effect is not cool at all. So I'm actually gonna put it up here. And what this does is it puts the black video into the forefront of the screen. So it puts it like, it's kind of like works in layers. It's now the top layer of what's playing on the screen, but the video of me playing and the audio of me playing will still be working underneath this top layer. So you'll still be able to hear me hit the last note, even though the black video comes in, and it creates this kind of cool effect. Yeah, kind of more of a punctual statement. I gotta line it up a little bit better. That should be good. And then the last note feels a little bit empty. There's no real bass or anything with it, so I'm gonna go into the audio. They have a bunch of built-in sound effects here, and I have the one I want loaded up already, but they have all sorts of actual songs and jingles and sound effects in here that you can pick and use. So I'm gonna pick this boom effect. I think this works perfectly for what I need, just to create some more emphasis on that last note. And I'm definitely gonna wanna lower the volume of this too. So let's hear this. Yeah, cool. I'll shorten that a little bit. And then I think really the last thing, and this is kind of this isn't necessary, but I really like doing this. I have a buddy named Jens, who is kind of a filmmaking guy, and he recommended I do this in some of my videos. There's something called a Kent Burns effect, and it basically just creates a little bit of movement on static images, or static video, meaning the camera doesn't move. It just it creates a little subtle effect that makes the video even a little more engaging, I think. So what I'll do, let's see, it's up here. So there are all these tools up here. You can adjust some of the audio effects and reduce background noise and add filters to your video, like this. I don't want any of these, but you can play around with some of this stuff up here. But what I'm going for is up here. They have the you can crop the video in any way that you want, or you can add the Ken Burns effect. So basically it asks you where you want the frame to start and where you want it to end, and that it'll last the duration of the clip. So it'll slowly kind of adjust to where I want it to end over the 25 seconds that clip is. So again, I just want it to be pretty subtle so that it's almost not noticeable to the casual viewer. But it just makes it a little more dynamic, and it's just an added detail that just levels up the content even more. So let's see what this looks like. Yeah, so like it doesn't do that much, and it barely moves, like you really can barely notice it, but I think it just adds another layer that makes it a little more pro, if you know what I mean. So I think we're good. I think the video looks good. I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm going to just simply go to File, Share, make it a file, and title it. We'll do Cool Social Media Clinic Lick, and then the resolution 1080p, high quality, all that looks good. And then I'll just save it to my desktop maybe, and then boom, it's exporting. And once that's done, I'll be able to post it wherever I want. It's that simple. That took me, I don't know what, like 10-15 minutes to make a high quality piece of content using iMovie. All right, and there we have it. I'm losing my natural light here, so I should probably wrap up this video pretty soon. So some concluding thoughts. You know, social media is such a powerful tool, and hopefully this helps you better understand how to fully take advantage of it. And I want you to listen closely to this last bit, because this is really important. Social media can be very toxic and detrimental to your mental health. It's unfortunate, but it's reality. You know, it can be really easy to get down on yourself, comparing your skills to those really good people that you follow. Or, when you post videos of yourself playing or post pictures or whatever, that can put you in a very vulnerable place. And, for some reason, there are very mean people out there that love to tear people down. Just remember that it's okay to be wherever you are on your journey to get better. Because it's just that. It's a journey. There are videos of me out there drumming on the internet from like back in my high school days that are pretty bad in hindsight. But I love those videos for what they are. It was just part of my journey to getting to where I am today. The most important thing is that you have fun and just, get a little better every day. Thank you for watching this beast of a video. And thank you to Vlad Boz and the Minnesota Percussion Association for asking me to do this. Be sure to check out the MPA social channels and website. And yeah, be sure to follow me if you don't already. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Instagram. And yeah, happy learning and happy creating.